Hello everyone, and welcome to another night of Dragon Warrior Randomizer. And we've got some important races that have happened today, and this is going to be the last one. Some big stakes for the placement and seeding in this pool. Tonight I'm joined on comms by Archfield Monk. How you doing today? Doing well. I see you're doing the broadcast as well, so wearing many hats tonight.
Yeah, actually, I think I just greeted you while I was still muted in OBS, so nobody heard that. They thought you were talking to yourself. But it's fine.
All right, so looks like we're about ready to start soon, but we've got a couple of the standard strength HP builds, and it seems like decent stats for level 1, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, these are actually really good stats. Everything in the white except for HP is a pretty good start. 24 attack power means they can fight basically whatever they want in at least the opening zone. Oh, Edge, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Okay, good. I had my sound all mixed around. But I think I'm good to go now. Hopefully chat can hear me. I think you can hear me now, so we should be alright.
Yeah, no worries. Alright, so we'll be off shortly. It's nice to see that they start with Radiant as well. If they run into any caves, we might see some cheeky early dives.
Yeah, early Radiance, kind of underrated. Just helpful, you know, be able to see in the dark.
Alright, so what have we got in the throne room today? The obligatory key, an herb. Oh, 2 key start. I like it.
Yeah, 2 key start, and we had Radiant, right? So depending on how things shake out here, they don't have any gold, but they can save this key if they want and check the treasury. But it looks like Stags are just going to head out into the field. Maybe got to look at his stats and said, you know what, I think it could be pretty easy to build gold for another key here if I want, so that's not a bad play either.
Yeah, I think also, can you get to a town in the early going pretty easy, and if that's not Hawksness, maybe we got a potential gold grind here, because there's definitely gold in the treasury.
Yeah, and Slam, well, there's, wow. there's
nothing but gold!
So just for the record, there's 7 gold chests in the entire game, I think. And there's 4 of them sitting in the treasury.
Stag's getting a punch to the face. That doesn't feel good, but Slamu probably feeling real good about grabbing 10k and just running off.
Yeah, the game gives you gold, take gold, I guess. He's going north, though.
Yeah, I would do this too, just because you can cover a lot more ground over the grass than you can the forest.
Precisely. So I think that's a good play. The map might kind of bring him back around. He's staying close to home so he doesn't hit anything especially dangerous. And now he sees the town. I don't know if he didn't have quite enough steps to make it. But Stags is going to make it. And it is Garanham.
Oh gosh, having that key as well. Oh dear. What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do in this case? Like, if you check the back door and you find a piece of Erdrick something, then I don't even know. There's a fighter's ring, though. And wings. And an herb. So we burnt the key to do this check. The thing is, if he can look at the shop, then he can reset and just do a gold grind at will.
Yeah, this seems like just a dive for information at this point, and it's the jerk.
Slamu takes out a droll on level 1, so this will actually be 2 levels in 1. 12 power, 3 speed, 6 hit points, 8 magic points, heal, return, repel.
Wow, that's a lot of useful stuff to start. And speaking of useful stuff, yeah, that shop had some good stuff.
Yeah, Slamu's going to see it now, and I would not be shocked to see him immediately punt as well. You can get broadsword, magic armor, and large shield to start.
Yeah, it seems like there's just a lot of information gathering going on here. If Slamu can pick up this other key, I think that would help out a lot.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a cave on Slamu's screen. I don't know that he has enough hit points right at the moment to get there. We've seen, I think, the scorpions showed weak breath in the first encounter.
Yeah, but with the HP as high as it is, that's not too bad, and we'll have another level. Yeah, so Stag's going straight for the gold grind. Slamu is gonna punt it a little bit just to keep the doors open, and I like both plays, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really think you can go super wrong here. It's not like the stats are bad, so you see Slamu's kind of over here in this east zone, just trying to find things to fight on 39 attack power. You know, in the heal spell, you can take basically whatever you want. So this seems fine to me. What Stags is doing, I think, is, you know, equally fine. These are both reasonable plays given the situation.
Yeah, chat raising a good point as well. Since the treasury is all money, you can get you just do a slow grind and come out pretty reasonable as well.
Yeah, you think about it, you average what? It's 500 to 750, so that's like 625 a chest. You can come out of the treasury easily with, you know, pushing 3,000 gold, so. So it looks like Stags is going to buy his broadsword and magic armor about simultaneously with Slamu getting his first key. Or buying his key. This is our first basement check?
Yep, not a bad idea either. Oh, hey.
Odds on more gold? No.
Nope. Alright, torch grind confirmed. But yeah, I think taking the time to just pick up the magic armor and the broadsword and that shield, that sets you up really nice for almost the rest of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't really... Once you get that gear, there's even not much reason, in my opinion, that you would even bother to check another shop the rest of the way. It would have to be a pretty dire circumstance, I think, to convince me to do that in this situation.
Yeah, I would say severely low agility, and that might be it.
Yeah. We really haven't seen a trace of that so far. Slamu on level 4 already has strength at about 40, 30 agility is fine. Hit points aren't great yet, but... This is Stags in Mountain Cave. I think that was a dragon scale on the first chest, so this is that cave to the northeast, I believe.
Yep, so, and Stag's gonna need some packing, because stonemen are not fun at level 2.
No. No, they're not.
Looks like a more modest gride for Slamu, so maybe broadsword, half plate, large shield, and good to go.
Yeah, that's quite reasonable here. The half plate is only 8 defense less than the magic armor. Magic armor has the other benefits too of, dampening the spell damage a little bit, and you get the modest heal walking, but it looks like Samu's gonna go chainmail here. Large shield, so that's still good for, 20 defense and 20 attack power.
Yeah, it's a nice place to be, and having the key as well. So as long as Rimbledar isn't nearby, this is a really solid play.
Yeah, I think a lot of how this will shake out will depend on exactly that. Where are we going to find our next key? There was already one in the treasury, so that the throne room. So that diminishes the chances that we'll find one loose somewhere. Could still happen, but that'll be interesting to see, where Stags' keys will come from.
Yeah, gosh, I just love 2 key starts. You can do so much in the early game.
Yeah, I think it really opens things up. There's a bunch of different strategies and things you can do with it, but Stags has just been hounded by Stonemen this entire time. He's trying to force his way through top floor of Grave here, Mountain Cave. And that's, I think, at least the 3rd time he's been sent back.
Alright, so finally gonna get some exploration beyond the swamp. So, see if Stags can find something new, or Slamu has a little better luck in Stoneman Cave. Oh geez, that wolf with Hurtmore, and yeah, just not enough damage there. That feels bad.
Yeah, that does feel bad, especially with the magic armor. You can, I think, in theory, tank a Hurtmore there if you're at full HP. Meanwhile, Slamu has crushed one Wraith and looks like he's tracking to get another one, and if he does, he'll be coming up real close to level 6.
Yeah, that's about as perfect an enemy as you can run into at 5.
Yeah, absolutely. So the encounters have treated Slamu much differently here. He's gonna get a Stone Man finally. Checks for sleep, doesn't have it, gets run blocked, gets Hurtmore, is not quite toast.
Oh, wow.
Goodness.
Wow.
And a pretty unfavorable enemy there actually on Stag's side. That was a pretty close diagonal zone. He got a Demon Knight on his way to Garanham.
Oh! Maybe the magic armor's looking more appealing now that we've seen 2 Hurtmore enemies.
Yeah, cluster of Hurtmore enemies always makes you think, maybe that would have been a good buy. Stags is going to get level 5. Slamu's just one encounter of really almost any kind from level 6. Looks like 8 power, 2 speed, 0 hit points, 1 magic point. So probably the thing we needed most we didn't get. HP's still a little bit low, but plenty of strength on level 6. 55.
Yeah, and if it's anything but Stonemen, they would be nice fights to take. I mean, Stag's running into a Droll Magi. It just has to be sick of this by now.
Oh, and that back attack 41 for Slamoo.
Yeah, that's just not anything you can do about that. And you know, if agility turns out to be a lag stat, there might be a lot of pain in the seed.
Yeah, entirely possible. The combination of low HP and low agility just means that you're getting back attacked constantly and starting fights on the back foot.
Okay, so Stags finds the grave and finds Sharlock. So it's a lot of really good stuff clustered all together. And when you land Stop Spell now, the enemy just swings. It's a nice crit, though.
That is a nice crit. We're just about on... Actually, Stag's taking the EXP lead back. Finally gets one of those hurt more enemies.
Yeah, can't check the bottom of the grave since no keys, but we'll see if maybe Stags gets lucky and finds one.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow, that is a find.
That is a big find. Erdrick's armor in the top of grave, less than 15 minutes in. No key there, which remains interesting. The swamp's no longer a big deal for Stags, and he's going to get the passive healing from that too.
Okay, well, Stags might be able to make a real big move here. Nope.
Yeah, I've got this metal slime zone here just south of Charlock. And we've got a town just north of Charlock.
Alright, so this is definitely a good place to find. It's coal, so the search spot could be profitable. Alright, Stones of Sunlight. Not the sword that you're hoping for, but necessary nonetheless. Alright, and Stag's finding a Wolf Lord as well, so that's a nice mid-range enemy because as valuable as these Droll Magi's are in experience, they're certainly taking a long time. And when Stop Spell misses, they take even more time. Whew, this is not good luck for poor Slamoo there. And Stags is just going and swinging. Just send me back to base. I don't want to explore in this direction anymore. Yeah, but Slamoo also found Erdrick's armor, so that was a little bit of a short-lived advantage, but you know, that wasn't going to elude Slamoo for too long, given how close those two caves were. Alright, so Stags gets level 7. And gets Heal More. Alright, so Heal More with what HP? Alright, Slamu making some progress makes it to the top 2 chests, but this cave being pretty lethal to stags still.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm back.
All good. Heal more at level 7, and that's about it.
Oh boy, we get to heal more with 36 HP.
Oh, so the Silver Harp is in Mountain Cave as well. And here is a knight, and yeah, probably a little too stout to fight right now. Same with the Demon Knight that Stags just ran into.
Yeah, even with the armor, there's still a lot of stuff that's just out of range in terms of what they can fight because the HP remains so low.
Alright, so there's just a lot of money in the starting area, it seems.
We have found just about all of the gold chests.
So yeah, it feels kind of bad having only 36 HP at level 7. It's not the ideal conditions for exploring, but you've exhausted everything around the starting area. I think you have to just keep going.
I'd agree with that. We haven't seen anything that even closely resembles a good grind zone to this point.
Oh, Stags might find something.
Yeah, metal slimes aplenty over here by Charlock. Got one.
Nice, 224, and yeah, I saw that little hold B minute there.
Oh, he's gonna crit a Wolf Lord too. This will be good for level 8. $4026, I think I saw there, plus the hurt spell.
2 HP and hurt. Hooray. Actually, this Rogue Scorpion's pretty nice.
That's a good find. If that's in that same zone as the Wolf Lord, it'd be pretty tempting to sit there and try to get another level, especially if you just get an occasional metal slime mixed in, may as well.
Alright, meanwhile, Slamu's gonna try his luck with this Wraith Knight and getting pretty good rolls for it.
He did go to the Healmore there. I think he really wanted that experience and to be able to see what this cave is.
Swamp North. Alright.
He is just about out of resources.
Yeah, gonna let that one go for now. And the cave zones have been thoroughly unfriendly so far.
Yeah, he will have known that having seen everything that he's seen to this point, so going through Swamp, not easy by any stretch.
Alright, meanwhile, Stag's finding Cantlin and cursing not having any keys right now.
Yeah, the longer this goes, without Stags finding a key somewhere, you know, the bigger divergence we could possibly see, because all of Slamu's exploration, you know, he'll have his keys already for things like getting the coordinates and so forth.
But yeah, Slamu is just desperately looking for a town at this point, but, you know, Wolf Lords are a nice second prize.
Yeah, that's handy. Really, any of these mid-game enemies are really nice to see right now.
Oh, and Stonemen have been never nice to see.
No. Stonemen are everywhere, it seems like, and deeply unpleasant.
Oh boy, Stags taking a crack at this Magiwyvern, and yeah, it has the minor wombo combo, but that's enough to send you back when you have 30 HP.
Yes. Even when you have the armor, if you stay asleep for 3 turns, chances are decent. You're done. They do have stop spell though. I think if I saw another Magiwyvern, I might think about taking a crack at it. Looks like Stags is going to go back in the mountain cave here.
Yeah, Slimu tried to sneak a attack in on this knight. He's having none of it. So that seems like the kind of the big story. Where do you get the experience in this once you've cleared out these 2 caves?
Yeah, I think that's a really big question. We've seen, you know, kind of a decent cross-section of the enemies they'd probably want to be fighting right now, and all of them are at least slightly problematic. These Droll Magi's inclusive have hurt more. We've seen the Magiwyverns show sleep already. There's at least a couple others, and it just seems like all the zones are contaminated with something that you probably don't want to fight.
Yeah, that makes me wonder if... Ooh, big crit!
Oh. So we're level on Metal Slimes now.
Yeah, if Slime is just gonna park here, or just happily take the 255 and move on.
Well, in Slimu, I've seen him do this before. If he doesn't think... I think it was a seed that was more desperate than this one, but there is some merit to saying, you know what? I think the actual best experience right now is if I just try to hunt down Metal Slimes. I don't know if this seed quite qualifies for that yet, but... depending on what else we see, it's something you kind of keep in the back of your mind.
I don't know if Slimu has seen sleep from this jerk yet, so getting lucky with the fire breath at least.
Yeah.
Oh, still nothing, wow. And another crit!
Good crit. Just crit. Best advice.
Yeah, just crit.
That's good for level 9. Looks like 3 power, 12 speed, so agility finally picks up 7 hit points, also nice to see. Came with 10 MP2.
There is the silver shield. Seems like it might be more of a luxury item at this point.
Yeah, I would say so. If you see that on level 9 in your Slimu and have 51 agility already, you already know where Grave is, you know where Mountain Cave is, so you've done a lot of the chest digging already that would kind of naturally lend itself to that routing.
Alright, so the runner's high five, and then Stags takes a high five from a stone man to the face. Seems to be the story of the seed. Slimu should be able to take out this knight now pretty easily.
I think Slimu did reach, to answer Tilo in chat, I think Slimu did reach Mountain 5. I don't think it was anything consequential.
Yeah, if I remember, it was more gold.
That's right, it was gold because that was like the 5th gold chest we've seen so far.
Well, here's a nice enemy to run into. A specter that you could just one hit.
Yeah, I wondered upon seeing that if Slimu would just sit down now.
Yeah.
This Magiwyvern.
Just crit.
Just crit. We don't have to do any more commentary the rest of the seed, right? We just say just crit whenever somebody crits something.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, good job, Edge. I'll see you next time.
All right, have a good night, everybody. Alright, Stags managed to exact some revenge on the Magiwyvern, and I think now the resources have gotten to the point where it is definitely doable to fight some of these more annoying enemies.
Yeah, Slamoo has the large shield, which actually helps quite a bit. There's a fair bit in the mid-game that's broken now, not some of the way up there things like the Magiwyvern, but he certainly has enough hit points to deal with them. He can stop spell them if he wants to, or at least try.
It looks like he just wants to... 1 hit point. That's all you need. He's just tanking these sleeves.
Well, you see, what's going wrong here for Slamoo is he didn't crit.
Yeah.
Not to be like overly critical or anything, I never want to be too harsh on erasers, but you know, I think that's really sound advice, and he just didn't do it that time, so... I'm really sorry about that, Tilo. Who am I kidding? I'm not sorry about it.
I was gonna say, don't apologize. You have nothing to apologize for. Alright, meanwhile, back on the metal slime treadmill. Nope. Nothing.
Drakey, is that good?
Not now. It was. Of course, Demon Knight's gonna dodge.
Demon Knights. I don't even know. It is dodging. It is dodging. Oh.
Oh god, yeah, that's just that is a tilt whole day if I've ever seen one.
And that's a shame too. Stags would have gotten level 10 on that, but gets sent back. Giant nothing right. Swamp Peninsula for Slamoo. Druin Lord's dodging now too.
Yeah, but there's a Druin Lord. Where were you this entire seat?
No kidding.
Right, so another Wraith Knight and Stag's doing some shopping, so just kind of retreading the same ground here, but making some slow and steady progress. There's level 10.
Yeah, no strength this time, 1 speed, 5 hit point, 7 magic points.
So the hit points are going up, but it feels like they're grudgingly going up.
They don't really want to go up, they're just kind of trying to relax.
Fine, if I have to.
Okay, I guess. First coordinate check coming up here. Slamoo, of course, has keys. He did not sacrifice his at the start of the seed. Stags did. And look at this count.
Woof!
Slamoo likes to count, and Stags will do counts too, but I wouldn't be wild about this one.
Yeah, no, this would be a fun seed to have red dragons in the swamp cave.
Yeah, 84 north, 89 east, as Stags found, I think, kind of dead-ended somewhere in Cast Return, but he did find, I think, the Staff of Rain Cave and traded in his harp. And interestingly enough, it looks like Stags is going for first chest of Mountain Cave. Had he just not made it there yet?
Huh, that's interesting. No idea. Slamu is just kind of poking around in this upper corner.
Seeing if he can randomly spike the coordinates.
Is this it? Oh, speaking of, is this it? So our buddy is alive and well in this seed, and
Simultaneously.
Oh, but guess hurt.
Oh, this is brilliant. Slamu swings away. Now, so this is actually kind of unfortunate for Stags because he ran first turn. Slamu got blocked and saw the hurt.
Wow, this went from terrible to amazing. Very slow. 1 HP again!
That has to be the third time at least that's happened to Slamu this seed.
Ah, just take one less damage than your HP, then you're fine. You could just crit defensively.
Oh no, it's not what you wanted. It's got the heal more behind it. Oh.
Oh, you know what, buddy? Yeah, just go home.
Yeah.
Alright, Stags is lucky.
That was a couple pretty big swings there. Went from Slamu got really lucky to Slamu got pretty unlucky. The 1 HP, the seeing the hurt, deciding to fight the red dragon, gets heal more.
Yeah, it's probably gonna have max stop spell resistance, dude.
Sometimes when you see a hurt enemy like that, it tells you that the enemy rolled at least one ability, so it could have a heal spell behind it. It's sometimes okay to stop spell there, but I don't blame Slamu at all for not doing it in this case because he's in peril on most HP totals. I think the Red Dragon can hit for like 43 or 44 on 66 defense, so you don't want to waste a turn if you don't have to.
Alright, well, Slamu's gonna take another Magidrakee nap. See if this one goes a little better. Yeah, alright. I was gonna say, it seems like it's been like 3 minutes since our runners have hit level 10, and they just haven't budged experience-wise.
I mean, Stags just killed a poltergeist. That probably tells you. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah.
Slamu's just saying, heck with it, and gonna kill warlocks. It's Druid Lords in the zone too, so if it's like a tertiary enemy or whatever, that's fine. I think the Magiwyverns are here too.
Alright. More medals and a crit!
Just crit.
Nice. Nice.
I'm very interested in Slamu not stop spelling the Magiwyverns.
I think it's just like genuine surprise that the sleeps last longer than 1 turn.
This is fair. On 82 attack power, you stand a reasonable chance, I think, of taking out a Magiwyvern in a couple of swings. It's probably more like 2.5 on average.
Yeah.
But I'm just guessing.
Because I know there was one death where it was 3 swings, which is just really bad rolls all around.
Yeah, that can happen, and Magiwyverns can have up to 48 HP, I think, so you can certainly just get on a string of low rolls and not get it.
But yeah, a knight definitely more palatable at this point.
Yeah, no abilities. Have to burn a couple heal mores probably, but not a big deal. Stags is closing in after that last Metal Slime on level 11 pretty quickly. Should just need one more decent encounter to get it. Rogue Scorpion certainly qualifies.
Yep. And Slimu taking a nap again.
Like, he's out here in the Western time zones. He shouldn't be sleepy yet. 7345 and Hurt More for Stags on level 11. That seems like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's definitely huge. Because now a lot of these enemies have just become way less annoying.
Yeah, they're just all cannon fodder here when it comes to Hurt More. We haven't really seen any of... What's interesting is I think we've seen, like, the Stone Man, and that's basically the only, besides the Red Dragons, of course, really kind of the only Charlock monsters we've seen, and everything else we've seen you can take in on Hurt More guaranteed.
Oh, Slimu finally making it to the top part of the map here, and it's a couple of towns. So if one of these happens to be Hawksness, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, he's really close to getting the Hurt More level 2. He's not at all close to killing this Metal Slime, which just ducked him for 5 turns and then ran. Oh no.
Uh-oh, that's less nice. It's cool, you'll have all day to run away though. Or not.
Okay.
Yeah, the Red Dragon's just...
I'm confused. Last time we saw this guy, he was like, I'm only casting Hurt.
Yeah, the Red Dragon is now in just crit mode.
We should have kept that advice closer to the vest there. We did not need the Red Dragons learning anything.
Oh, I don't care. I'm not in this race.
That's a very fair point. Oh no.
Oh.
Did not have enough juice to get through it, so we don't know what the other town is.
Yeah, it's just, this is the very definition of playing with your food.
I think we see Swamp North on Stag's screen. He has not seen this yet. Slimu got there and was basically out of resources, so he did not attempt to go through last time.
Yeah, I will laugh pretty hard if Swamp North is just a shortcut to that area Slimu was in.
That would be great. I would enjoy that a lot. Of course, there's...
We took Stone Man revenge? No,
Oh,
not
no,
today.
nope. Nope.
Exact change.
Exact change. Level 11, there's stone men all over the seed, so naturally the only spell our players do not know is Sleep.
Alright, so this should be the Hurt More level for Slimu. Meanwhile, where is Stags gonna go?
Yeah, Stags has options. Plenty of areas he hasn't explored yet, and he knows where that cave is. He got into Swamp Cave, but hasn't seen any of it, except for the stone man that killed him a couple of tiles inside, so he goes right back to Swamp Cave. Slimu is here too. It might be time for a spike check.
Yeah, it could be Slimu's buddy. Oh, kind of a dragon. It did! It went right there!
It did.
It's a stone man!
Why? Oh, game.
Oh, everything about this seed is wonderful.
It's a pretty good seed. I'm not sure if Stags and Big Slimoo feel that way about it right this moment. Slimoo is trying to slog his way through this blue dragon fight. He almost certainly wants to rescue the princess here because the count is ludicrous.
Crit!
There goes a crit.
Not enough.
So Slimoo might get through the blue dragon.
Yeah, but how do you get out of it?
Yeah, I don't know how you get back out again.
Alright, we have the death necklace. With 54 HP, we have secured the death necklace.
Wonderful.
Alright, well, scratch that one off the grind tile list.
Yeah, blue dragon doesn't look like it's happening. Stags comes to another cave. I think at this point this has to be tablet.
Yeah, it's our only option left.
So one free chest here in the sense that you have to walk like 20 seconds to get to it. Stags at least has enough MP to outside out of here. Slimoo, on the other hand, is in a little bit of trouble. Cursed belt for Stags at Tablet Cave because, you know, why not?
Alright, so just going in swinging, and we're just gonna put the princess back.
Yeah. It used to be that you could go to that tile and run away from that encounter, and that spike tile would just shove you back to the north side so you could walk out if you ran away. But that's not the way it works anymore. You get stuck back on the side you came from. So...
So, where is that pesky token buried? Way in the upper right-hand corner of the map.
Yeah, we've really got that, and Stags still needs to find a key. And he's seen, I think, all of the chests that he has access to at this point, right? Because the two that he's got left in the grave are key-locked, so he's got to find Remulder. He has, however, found level 12. I think that was 210-8 and something. I missed the number at the end for MP.
Yeah. Most importantly, still no sleep.
Still no sleep.
But yeah, if Stags can pull off a backwards count here, it'd be really impressive and extremely useful. Alright, so Slimoo, round 2 in Foxness. And that looks relatively corner-like to me.
Yeah, there's at least the opportunity. If you wanted to try a really ridiculous count on this one.
Alright, the metal slimes are just everywhere.
Got 2 damage on this one already to Stags. And... got the third.
The double tap pays off again.
Forget just crit, that's old hat. We're going to just press B before you swing.
Yeah, just a minute.
Slamu now also has his death necklace. I'm sure he's thrilled.
Just throws it on the ground and stomps on it.
Well, let's not get carried away. It's not the fairy flute.
If only it worked on Stoneman. Yeah, just make fairy flute work on Stoneman and Goldman.
I'd be okay with that. Yeah, to Brian's point in chat, Caitlin is very near the coordinates, so if you knew the relative position of Tanagel in relationship to the coast, you could, in theory, kind of figure it out when you get to Caitlin. Stags is still in the unfortunate spot where he doesn't have access to even get the coordinates yet because he's still without keys.
Yeah, it was kind of rough that he probably walked over the top of the token, but
he probably has. He's been all over this part of the map. So we have two possible candidates for what's on this search spot, right? Or I guess three, pardon me. We have the sword, the token, and the fairy flute. We still don't know what's in bottom two of grave, I don't think.
yeah, we've seen a lot of curse belts, so.
But we've seen all the curse belts. Got the death necklace out of Hawksness, and then I believe it was the stones at Cole, correct?
Yes, and so, yeah, only 2 unopened chests left.
This might... I think this might be a new town on Stag's screen, in which case might be the keys he's looking for. And it is.
Hey, alright.
And well, actually, now that I think about it, we've got the chest here in Remulder too, so that's still a possibility for being required, and Slamu hasn't seen this yet. Level 12 for Slamu now too.
Alright, so this just about evens everything up. So finding a good grind spot is kind of the next order of business here once you get the token. So I don't know where the heck you would go with this seed.
I really don't. Obviously, both of the tiles are terrible. You don't have... Oh, look at that! Talk about required Erdrick's sword in the double-locked chest in the Remulder Inn.
Yeah, that's super important.
So now we are down to a 50-50 for the search spot. It could be token, could be flute. We still have those 2 chests at the bottom of the grave to search out, and Slamu just is picking some random tiles again.
I don't know, maybe he'll find Bagu if he walks through the forest tonight. Excellent move! It is dodging! Oh, God!
Speaking of, excellent move on the other side! Slamu crits a metal. Demon Knight continues dodging.
Demon Knight doing Demon Knight things.
Stick and move, Max, stick and move. Alright, so Stags needs to put his keys to use. I think he's headed back toward where Cantlin is, I think.
Yeah,
He also has... Yeah.
Make a beeline for those coordinates. Now you've got me thinking about, like, who the final boss would be of Dragon Warrior Punch-Out.
Dragon Warrior Punch-Out. It's a good question. I feel like maybe the Golem is King Hippo. I don't know why I think that. Just throwing it out there.
Just have to knock it down once, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, Necrosaro with 8 arms. Yeah. It's just Necrosaro, but not holding swords, just has boxing gloves.
Well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Oh, Atlas would be a good one, too.
Oh, Atlas, that's a really good choice. This is interesting, and I think I kind of like what Stags is doing here. He's headed back into Grave, and I think he's going to dip the bottom 2 chests right now. He knows the coordinates are way off in the middle of nowhere, so if that's a flute, he doesn't care about it. So if he can rule that out, then he doesn't have to bother with the princess rescue or anything like that. He can just get his token here if it's in Grave.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other benefit of... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and if he finds the flute, then he can bounce immediately.
I mean, if you find some more green dragons, this might actually not be a bad grind spot either.
It's one of the better ones we've seen so far. That's a pretty good encounter right now. Speaking of, there's some information.
So, yeah, we don't even need to check the bottom now, do we?
And he knows that, and he hits outside immediately. Does take that flute probably to the disapproval of chat.
Snaps it over his knee.
Oh, here he goes. Okay, so he's counting toward this area to try to get a beat on this.
If you count towards the other corner, then maybe you do this in reverse.
So I think he's got his west marked off, and that is the south coast there. Interesting.
I remember Silverfire tried to teach me how to do this once, and it was just too galaxy brain for me. I
am one of the most incompetent counters, even just like on a normal count. Like give me 30-15 and I'll find a way to be 7 tiles off in the wrong direction. So this is certainly well beyond anything that I would attempt. But possibly Stags, I mean, this is a really interesting play, and he could be thinking too, you know what, Slamu has done some really crazy reverse counts in the past, even in the tournament too, so that could be something he's thinking about, making this play as well. And he just breezed right on past Swamp Cave, so I think he's dedicated to trying to figure this one out. Slamu gets level 13, so he has taken the experience lead now. 7 power, 10 speed, 12 hit points, no magic points. I was hoping that was a little more power because I was just thinking to myself, you know what, the grinds in the seed are so lousy, but if you put on the death necklace at like 70 hit points, you could just start taking on metal slimes all the time. Honestly, the red dragons right now aren't too terrible either. You would just have to see if you could land stop spell first.
Just run away. That's all you need.
Samu maybe needs... did he... Oh, okay, he got a sword. Alright. For some reason, I didn't think he'd been in room yet. Alright, so here we go. Stags is in the northeast corner. He has found his landmarks to the southwest. Try to do this reverse count. As a bonus, he's going to get level 13.
Just gonna obliterate this magician for good measure.
Looks like...
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, looks like Slimu's gonna go Stone Man here.
Yeah, I mean... It might be the best of a bunch of bad options at this point, at least until your strength gets high enough that blue dragons become more reliable. I guess the other option would be go get your token and then go on the first floor of Sherlock, but I hate that.
You know, I really do too. I feel like first floor of Charlock just usually, I mean, the encounter rate's not as good as you would find in, say, the hills or the desert, is at least part of it. But pretty often, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it works out most of the time unless the spike tile monsters are really, really bad.
Alright, so as Stags just kind of wanders around in the woods here, Slimu is just going to start stacking up a ton of experience. And, yeah, if you're going to do the count, that's going to make life easier. Just having better stats.
For sure. And at least in this case, with Brecconary so close by, it means Slimu can probably stay here. He does have to be a little careful because there's the red dragons outside. I'll be interested to see if he leaves Hawksness with a little bit of MP in reserve just in case.
Yeah, this kind of feels like throwing good money after bad, but I mean, you're up here, you're pretty much committed at this point.
Yeah, I think he decided he was gonna try this count and is just going to grid search while he's up here.
So maybe over the river again. Time to This is bad. This is when you start doubting yourself.
You really start to doubt yourself. It's 100% true.
And there aren't even consolation good monsters.
Yeah, there's the occasional knight, but that's about it.
I mean, provided your Tantagel coordinates are good, then you might just want to restart those.
Yeah, he did check the north coast again. It looks like Stags is gonna bail here.
Yeah, this feels bad. I think it's good to know when you're beat, but yeah, this feels crushing right about now.
Yeah. I can say at least my morale would be bottomed out after thinking I had a pretty good beat on that and just not, again, coming up empty. There could be some consolation here in that if he starts taking these red dragons, it's at least going to help keep the experience differential close. He's gotten 2 dodges in this fight already. But I think this was the first time that we've seen either Grunner try to stop spell one of these reds, and it did land first try.
Yeah, I guess if you can find nothing but these guys, and you'll take wizards too, sure.
Slamu is up to level 14. That's 9 more power, 2 speed, 7 hit points, 2 magic points. So if he were really interested, he is in range now where he could put on the Death Necklace and one-shot medals.
That's actually really interesting.
It's kind of tempting. Whenever I have a seed like this, I tend to think along those lines because the attack power is through the roof, but obviously the agility is pretty good too for what it's worth on level 14, but with hit points and MP just not there, and you already know where Breckenary is. So it would be something to consider, but honestly, with the attack power now this high, I think the red dragons are a pretty safe bet, and since they're out there in the same zone with some medals anyway, I don't really have a problem with the staying on the stone men right now, but I think Stags has actually managed to close the experience points gap a little bit just from fighting some random red dragons and wizards in the overworld.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are just so much more efficient, and the tweak to the red dragon experience just makes them so much more favorable.
Yeah, so to answer Beta Strep's question in chat, that's basically the size of it. Tilo Tilo's already wrapped up the number 1 seed in the Magidrakee group, regardless of other outcomes. But Big Slamu and Stags, this race for them will basically seal the number 2 and number 3 seed. Both of them are already in the playoffs. Whoever wins this race will be the number 2 seed out of that group, and whoever loses will be number 3. I think Stags is back at it. Or maybe he's just... I'm not sure. Oh, he's going to cast Return.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know what the opposite of a victory lap was, but that's what that was. Yeah, Slamu just making slow and steady progress. Just brick by brick.
I see what you did there.
I mean, we've been building up to it all season. Come on, bad puns are the foundation of my commentary.
That one actually took a couple seconds to land. And I'm a little disappointed in myself, if I do say so.
I don't think there's enough dots to express how Tilo feels about this.
Yeah, you can't string too many ellipses together, or Nightbot will just moderate you, so... I'm not sure if we'll get the full scope of really how Tilo feels about that one.
Alright, so we have the princess, the GPS, and then we will feel bad and find out how close we really were at the start.
Honestly, this is kind of the worst part for me if I try a count like this and miss it, and then I go rescue the princess, and then ping the GPS and realize I was a tile away one direction or another. You just kind of smack your forehead and... yeah, that feels pretty bad.
It's a nice amount of experience for Slimu.
It is.
No, not anymore.
He's what, 3 stonemen away from the next level? Probably will
I think
not.
so.
Yeah, probably won't get it on this cycle. It's on his last Healmore.
That's fine, you can get it. Just crit.
That's right, just crit.
Just crit. Or Blue Dragon. No. Like, this is just a bad neighborhood, though, because it's Breckenary right next to Hawksnest.
Yeah, no, that's, as kind of like connected exurbs go, that's pretty bad. And you've got all these red dragons in between the two towns.
And is Slamu looking for red dragons now?
Not actually sure. I think he was maybe looking for Swamp Cave.
Ah, that makes sense.
It was just a little bit off. There was a peninsula up there just west of Breckenary, but this Swamp Cave entrance is just to the south of it. Should have a much better experience against the Blue Dragon this time. 127 attack power means 3 swings and done, at least on that encounter. I'm a little surprised he didn't get a free stone man on the way to rescue the princess. I expected one to show up.
Yeah, I mean, or at least a Magic Wyvern that goes first. Hey, just crit.
Just crit. Level 15 for Slamu. Stags is in the northeast and is pinging the GPS. Take a look at these stats. 3, 4, 0 hit points, and 2 magic points.
Back to the treadmill. Hey, there's your stone.
There's the Stoneman. Stoneman!
And we have the token, and yeah, that looks like that really wasn't anywhere close to where Stags was searching.
No, it was actually a fair distance away.
And thank you to Nescart for the raid as well.
Yeah, welcome in everybody. We've got a race in the Magidrakee group here. Big Slamu versus Stags. It's been a pretty interesting seed. As you can see from our stats there on screen, HP has remained kind of suppressed, but the strength is really good. Pretty long coordinate count that Stags attempted. Didn't quite get it, had to rescue the princess. You see Slamu has the princess rescued right now. And is still looking for one last location. I'm not actually 100% sure what it is that he's looking for. Maybe he hasn't seen... I'm pretty sure he's seen everything. But we did have a double key start in this one, so both of our racers opted to do different things with it. Slamu held on to it in order to grind up enough money to buy more keys. Stags burnt it because the treasury was entirely gold in this seed, and Garanham was very close, so he was able to immediately access a broadsword and some magic armor. And it was back and forth on experience for a while until Stags attempted that count, but unfortunately that was while Slamu was grinding in Hawksness against some stonemen, and it's kind of been a little bit of a setback. So while Stags has his token, he does have about a 2,000 experience point deficit, and Slamu just has this coordinate count in front of him in order to have Charlock access. Or you know what? Okay, so Slamu hasn't traded his harp yet.
Oh, so we still need a Staff of Rain Cave on Slamu's side.
Yes, he has seen everything but that, I believe. So welcome in, everybody. That's kind of the state of the race right now. I'm Archfield Monk. Edgeworth with me on commentary, and Monsieur Slime doing our tracking tonight. These red dragons cast Hurt a lot. I think we did see Slamu miss a stop spell there. That was the first stop spell miss I've seen, but it was just the one, and he landed it and then swung through.
Yeah, that definitely seems like the way to go. Doesn't seem like the stop spell resistance is sky high.
No. Saves you the possibility of the heal more, although on 130 attack power. They're really just churning through reds whenever they find them. So Stags has his token. It looks like he's going to go to the Swamp Spike for this blue dragon. At this stage, with as much attack power as they have, I like the blue now better than the Stone Man.
Yeah, I agree. You could just reliably 3-hit these guys. Just really solid.
Yeah, you can skate through this fight pretty often without even having to use heal more until afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this was as close to a town as it was too. So
no, I had no. 100%. I had no idea. And then when I saw Slamu walk to it, I was like, oh, that's just like a screen south of Breckenary. So relatively close. You know, it's not near as close as Hawksness, of course, but I think the grind is just better enough that it makes sense to come here instead.
Well, and now Stags gets like 4 low rolls. And... Sorry. It's all my fault.
So now the situation is flipped. Slamu is out hunting the token and the Staff of Rain Cave, and Stags is on the grind. So we might see the experience points lead start to shift back Stag's direction a little bit. Although he does have probably around 1,700 experience deficit to overcome.
It's going to be very interesting if they don't hit the, the safe HP number for this Dragon Lord fight. But their attack power is clearly good for it.
Yeah, the attack power is, it could even pick up some more by the time you grind enough HP to feel comfortable about diving, so they're in great shape there. Agility is actually looking pretty good right now, too.
Yeah, Slime is getting some nice enemies on the overworld, too, so that's gonna, just help keep Stags at arm's length.
Stags does have the token now, so all that remains for him is trying to track down his last trade-in cave.
Stags has enough MP banked for the outside, so... Nope, just gonna keep going.
Just gonna take one more. I'm not sure whether it's optimal or not, but as much as the Stonemen have been jerks this seed, if you're planning to walk this back out, I think I would rather just use outside.
Yeah, so it seems like it's very interesting. The Breckenary Hotel is basically in the middle of Fight Club.
It pretty much is. It's conveniently located next to all of the premier clobbering destinations in Alfgard.
For all your brawling needs.
I think we're back to Punch-Out again.
I mean, you have to fight a dragon at least once in that game.
To answer Brian's perhaps rhetorical question in chat, where the heck is this staff cave? I actually don't know. I saw Stags enter it and then trade the harp, and then I looked away again, and I just genuinely have no idea on this map where the staff cave is. Angel says it's south of Garenb, which I hate to break it to him, that's not a place. Stags is now level 15. And what do we got here? 7,600 experience points for Stags and 8,700 experience points for Slamu. So the gap has shrunk. Now we're down under 1,000. As Slamu continues hunting for his harp trade-in cave.
Yeah, then still has to... No, both players still have to do the Rainbow Drop turn-in as well. But, yeah, the jerk's in Garenham, so it's actually going to be way more convenient for Slamo.
Okay, so the staff trade-in cave is this cave that we see... let's see. The one you can see from the start, I guess. I have no idea how to get there. Is it really all this windy? You have to go this far east to go back south and then go west to get there? Oh, there is a bridge southwest of Start. Okay.
Yeah, it is a little twisty just in the other direction. Yeah, and Stags is almost pulled even now.
Yeah, Slamu's been rappelling around because he wants to find this cave as quickly as possible, but as when we were talking about the enemies before, I mentioned, how kind of few spots there seem to be Charlock monsters. Haven't been many green dragons on the overworld. We've seen some reds, of course, but just in the areas where Slamu's been walking, he has not been getting many encounters. He's repelling
And
everything.
Stoneman.
Yeah, Stoneman.
Yeah, it's interesting. The post-game interviews are going to be like a roller coaster of emotions because both players definitely have had that pit in your stomach moment.
Yeah, 100% for Stags, that first attempt at the reverse count, and now for Slamu just trying to find this cave. And in the course of going to Garanham, you will certainly have seen it at some point off to the south of Tanagel there, but maybe just doesn't recall that it's there, or hasn't seen that bridge. I mean, I haven't seen the bridge, to be honest. I even watched Stags count over there when he was getting his bearings for the reverse count, and I didn't remember seeing that passage to get to Staff Cave.
I mean, Slamu is running out of places to search, but this is going to be almost a complete retrace at this point.
Yeah, between going to the northeast to look for the token and then just having swept all the way east across the map to the south just now, he's gonna basically see the entire world one time over before he sees Staff Cave to the south, although I think he just doubled back before he got back to Tanagel again.
Oh, that's no good.
Oh, okay, turned around one more time. So he is headed in the right direction now. Back to Mountain Cave. He is going to peek inside just to make sure. I know that feeling.
I've definitely had some maps that I've explored by tracing the coast and then completely missed a cave that was on the inside.
Yeah.
And that has felt terrible. So
That,
looks
yeah.
like Slam is trying to avoid that, but no, there's definitely water near this cave.
Yep, here we go. So Slamu found the bridge. It was just, a screen and a half south of start. And if you look at that right now, Slamu gets his staff, and we are within about 150 experience points of each other. Stag's still on his grind, though, so has a little bit of a leg up.
Yeah, Slamu gonna be able to turn in this rainbow drop, but with a quick return, it's not going to be too much of an advantage. Alright, what do we got at level 16?
Level 16 has 7 more power because we needed that. 1 speed, 3 hit points. We kind of needed those and didn't get them. And 14 more magic points.
Yeah, we got sleep. 137 attack power, holy cow.
Well, now you don't even need the death necklace on to start one-shotting metals. Obviously, this blue dragon grind is probably too good at this point to worry about that, but honestly, if I'd seen a zone that had both red dragons and metal slimes in it, which I think we've seen at least in a couple spots, I would be very tempted by that right about now.
Yeah, I think the benefit of that combination is it's a lot less resource intensive as far as healing goes.
Right, even as quickly as Stags is cutting down these blue dragons at 137, it is still just to heal more after every encounter. And it, takes a while too. It's, 3 swings is not necessarily trivial. Slamu, meanwhile, is headed into Charlock. He is pretty close to level 16, so if this is, potential go level, he could maybe just start walking if he wants, but he is going to pace the loop here, at least for a moment, near the entrance.
Where have you been all seat?
First Axe Knight we've seen, pretty sure.
Yeah,
There's a second for good measure.
Yeah, and then here is the problem with these zones. Like, the enemies are good, but then you get the god tier walk like that. That you never get on your dive. So
Yes, the classic hero walk when you don't want it. Level 16 for Slamu as Stags uses outside to refresh his resources. Sleep finally showed up way too late to be of any utility in the scene. Sorry about that, Itch. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, yeah, sleep of no use to these poor East Coasters that are up watching this race right now.
Alright, so interestingly enough, by the time Stags gets back to his Blue Dragon Spike, looks like... Oh, we've got a Breath Attack from the Axe Knight there, but it's just the weaker version. The deficit right now for Slamu is about 400 experience points.
Yeah, Stags has to pop Radiant because he tripped over, I don't know, I think like an old mannequin and maybe a dusty easel. Somebody's just been storing crap down here.
It wasn't good for anything else in the seed, right? Second continent was empty. I mean, sure, you had to rescue the princess, but... Old paint cans. Coffee cans full of remaindered screws.
Yeah, you find one of those blue tins and you think it's going to be full of cookies, but it's just a sewing kit.
Yeah. Extraordinary disappointment. Level 17... Yeah. Sorry about that, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, still doesn't feel good. But gosh, these enemies in Floor 1 Charlock, they're nice, but they're not showing up fast enough.
Yeah, Stags is just gradually building his advantage on the spike tile. And on top of that, Slamu's gonna have to leave for his resource refresh very soon. Level 17 shows up at 12,000 experience. We could very easily be in go mode after just a couple more blue dragons for Stags. But the way the seed has gone, do we really expect there to be enough hit points on level 17?
I mean...
Well, I think
it might be close.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. You mentioned it earlier and we didn't really get to talk about it too much. But, you know, in a seed like this, if the HP shows up at 94, if you get 10 on level 17, what are you thinking about?
I don't know. I guess the other interesting thing is, if 17 is sufficiently bad, then by the time you hit 18, you might have Silver Shield money too.
That's actually a really good point. I hadn't considered that. Which would be the silliest way ever to get a Silver Shield, considering that we started with 4 gold chests in the treasury. That's 1 power, 2 speed.
No!
Forget 10! I had the digits wrong. It was in the wrong place. I meant 1.
Can we flip MP and HP, please, and just go?
If only that's what the Death Necklace did, we'd be in great shape right now.
That's insane.
So they've got almost... they've got almost 15 Healmores and 85 hit points.
Looks like Slamu's starting to run away from certain things, and that's gonna... maybe this is sort of a gamble to I'm gonna fight my way down and hopefully get exactly what I need.
Yeah, well, I think that could for sure be it, and I think it's really interesting, too, to consider both of the runners' positions here, right? Because both of them have to feel really behind, I would think, because of the respective things that kind of ended up being big time sinks for them. Slamu took a really long time to find his harp trading cave, went literally all the way around the world and came back to it. And Stags had that reverse count that went awry. So, if I'm in Slamu's shoes right here, I think to myself, wow, I have to be really behind because of how long that took. Little does he know that his, both of these racers have had similar issues in that regard.
Yeah, it just really has just been a scene where nothing has gone to plan for anybody.
Level 18 is 14,250. I think Slamu was trying to hold on to some resources here by running from this Armored Knight. It's not quite working out. He has to burn a heal more.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's gonna search the treasury for Erdrick's bazooka.
Well, I think like on 139, right? If you have like 8 heal mores, you can think about it if there's a big HP gain. And he is right kind of on that threshold now, so he can't afford to spend any more resources, and I think he just doubled back. So he's probably just going to try to pick up the level here now.
Yeah,
if that was his plan, to just dive and hope for HP.
Yeah, I think I've only had one race where that's turned out like that. I've just, beat up Axe Knights on the tile downstairs and suddenly got like 30 HP. But yeah, I don't know. If you gotta go all the way to 18, that what Stags is doing is definitely the way to go.
The Exactoed. Level 17 did Big Slamu.
Wow.
Looked like he was maybe reaching for his outside spell, but possibly he wants to see what Zone 2 is like now. Takes a peek at his stats. He does have the Fighter's Ring. Wonder where that was, if Stags doesn't have it.
I think that was in Garenham.
Oh, right.
So if Stags had it, he probably just threw it to the side.
Yeah, so Stags did that early check of Garenham, and I think went in the back door with his only key, right? And then found nothing there and checked the shop and then reset, so he maybe never bothered to go back.
Yeah, so he'll probably get it when when the Rainbow Drop turn-in happens.
Yeah. Not that, when you have 98 strength and you still need to keep grinding, I'm not sure that the Fighter's Ring is the most critical piece of equipment, but it never hurts.
Yeah, it looks like Slamu is just committing to killing a bunch of stuff on this floor right now.
Good crit there for Stags. Probably after he was so deep into his fight that it didn't matter anymore. So that's always the best kind of crit.
Yeah, it's like, can I save a little bit of that overkill for the next fight?
I'd
Just
Go
ahead.
like to roll this over into my next encounter, please.
It's like, maybe some of this could hit the blue dragon that's sitting behind you.
Or just on a conveyor belt.
It's just a single file line, please.
Please take a number. The next customer service representative will be with you shortly.
Yeah, so if Stags is on the conveyor belt, it feels like Slamu's at the DMV right now.
It kind of does. We've got about a 1,000 experience points gap that is held steady. And Slamu's out of resources and Stags is on a full tank. So even if we need to keep going beyond this, that will probably just elongate the advantage that Stags has right now. What would I need if we... I would say this, Tilo, if we get 7 strength again. I don't know.
Well, we're about to find out.
1 power, 5 speed, 6 hit points. And wait, was that a double-digit MP gain? What?
Another one! You go.
145?
Just go.
I would just go. Whatever, you know? I don't... Who wants to sit and grind blue dragons for another 7 minutes? I think something really fascinating is about to happen in this race, and I'm here for it. I'm so pleased about what is going on right now. So Stags is buying herbs. He's got 91 hit points and 145. I don't actually I'll confess, I'm not great at counting by 8. So I keep like a tiny chart that shows me how many Kilmores I have on a given MP total, and it doesn't go that high.
Just selling the death necklace.
We're not gonna need this. We don't need the death necklace. We're good. Does he have what would have been really hilarious is if he'd sold the death necklace and had enough money for the silver shield, but unfortunately he's not quite there.
Yeah. Almost.
Do get the fighter's ring for Stags. Super important. Goes up to 141.
Yeah.
So Stag's range, of course, is 10 to 20. On average, he's actually at exactly 15 damage per swing. So in theory, he probably needs about 10.5 swings to do this, and he's got some number of heal mores that I can't count.
I was gonna say he has infinity heal mores. Just like, okay, we plugged the game genie in, but we didn't get the code quite right.
No, we really wanted to do this slightly better. Oh, look at this! Oh, look at this! I love it. So the treasury is full of gold. If you weren't here at the beginning of the seed, all 4 of these chests, vanilla treasury. I think it's the first time I've ever seen this. And it only requires 1 pass through the treasury to get enough money for the silver shield. He's going to be repelling the world on the way down through Charlock. I love this. My word. What a seed. What a race. Slamu's closing in on level 18. He's just got 1 more encounter, basically, and he's there, so we get to see what he decides to do.
This is utterly incredible. Like, I don't know if there's a seed vault somewhere, but you all gotta put this in there.
Yeah, this seed needs to survive, the apocalypse. We need this one to be around for future generations.
It's like, it's not even offensively awful, it's just really weird.
It's just profoundly weird. One of the weirdest seeds I've ever seen. I actually had a seed early in the tournament, that I, even in a comment, noted that it was the weirdest seed I'd ever seen. It was basically the opposite of this. We had like 140 hit points and 19 magic points on level 11 or something. It was absurd, but this is the exact opposite of that.
But hey, don't look now. Slamu's also
Slamu's also getting ready. So Stags does have the advantage of the silver shield if he wants to repel his way down Charlock. Oh no! He was trying a rainbow drop and he called the princess instead. Well, he knows this might be his last dive, so he wants to call his loved ones and say one last hello.
Tell him
for the abyss.
Hello.
I love that line. That is a great line.
So,
can our runners be successful? All I know is my gut says maybe.
Look at this run, though, from Stags. Like, that repel's doing work.
It for sure is. 94, he's repelling everything up to just before well, actually, is he repelling Axe Knights here too? I always forget if it's 94 or 95 because there's weird stuff going on with Axe Knight attack power, but... Yeah, 94. Oh. So repelling everything through Axe Knights and getting jammed up by an Armor Knight on 89 agility, whereas I think Slamu just passed him. Oh no!
Yikes!
Stags trying to preserve some resources there, I must assume, or just maybe mismenued and takes a death to that Armor Knight just at the bend as he's trying to make his way around toward the staircase to get out of Zone 1. Red Dragon's in Zone 2 for Slamu, but of course with the Hurt spell, they're, I don't know, maybe more of a nuisance, but this one's decided to swing away, of course, as soon as I say that.
Alright, well, there drops another heal more, so... So, we heard you like experience.
Oh, and Stags, intent on getting back to Charlock, gets run blocked to death by a red dragon.
Yeah, fortunately, not a critical death given how everything is shaking out. I think it's going to require a Slamu wipe, or just farewell to a lot of heal mores.
Yes. Slamu has just said, you know what, I'm going to try to swing through the Healmore here. Managed to do it. That's when you know you have a lot of attack power, is when a red dragon has Healmore and you say, you know what, I'm just going to swing. Yeah, the red dragon would have had to have gotten a bad Healmore roll there. Otherwise, it would have survived that.
Yeah, there's another one.
Alright, Stags is back in. Armor Knight being a nuisance, and Slamu... Slamu crits for 76? That was a trash crit.
Well, I mean, after you swing for, like, 40, it's good enough. Just crit.
Just crit.
Just crit.
Don't look now, but Slamu's about 1,000 experience points shy of 19.
I will laugh so hard if 19 is just a billion HP.
I'm not sure which is the funnier outcome. Is it like 2 hit points? Or 1 hit point? Or is it 47 hit points?
Well, don't look now, but minus 1 more heal more.
Yeah, Slamu's had to burn pretty significant resources. These Armor Knights have been a menace for both runners, and probably here goes another Healmore for Slamu.
Yeah, this is definitely a beta strip Charlock so far.
It's a good way of putting it. Granted, on this attack power, he can afford to burn these Healmores as long as level 19 brings some hit points. He didn't want to take this fight, obviously, but he's had it now and goes swing and hurt more.
Yeah, meanwhile, Stags is just running past all of these, so...
Yeah, I think Slamu probably cognizant of the fact he's used enough resources that he needs the level now. He can hope for a pretty good spike tile. Stags...
Yeah, but this is so close now.
It really is. Stags has made it all the way around the U-shaped floor, actually. It is in the final corridor. That 94 defense, presumably doing some work.
Yeah, sorry, don't have time for you, Star Wyvern.
Yeah.
God, Stags with the PF flyers through Charlock.
Now, Stag's fight, of course, is still in question, whereas Slamu, after he takes this red dragon out, will just need enough experience that he can probably get on the bottom floor and maybe even still be viable, depending on the situation, but...
Yeah, I was gonna say, depending on who's guarding the Dragon Lord. There's still one mandatory fight.
This is the one spike tile possible enemy we have not seen all seed.
Yep, and now we're just gonna duct tape the fairy flute back together real fast. Just give me a second.
Just hang on, get some crazy glue. And a nice splint, and then crit.
Yeah,
you know.
That just crit.
Just crit.
Yeah.
Didn't need the flute after all, can throw that away now.
Story of the Seed, just crit.
So here we go. 91 max hit point Dragon Lord 2 fight for Stags28. Trying to chase down.
Just gonna check the stats, so I don't know, maybe put your death necklace on. 51 to DL1.
51!
This is revenge for every 70 that you get from a Chaos DL1.
Yes, that 51. We put a hurt on him. Opening.
Oh.
I missed
Yeah,
it.
now here comes the fire breath.
Here comes the fire breath, which is almost always going to put you in a spot where you have to think about swinging, and it'll take the 47 and do 13 damage. Get ready, folks. It's gonna be like this the whole way down.
Oh, God.
Please put your tray tables and seats in the fully upright position. We're in for a bumpy landing. Slamu level 19.
What's that? Level 19. Hit points plus
Practically
1.
nothing! A virtual MTI level on 19!
Alright, good attack there from the Dragon Lord, so each one of those successful ones that goes in, feel a little better about things. But yeah, swinging on all the 47s and heart in your throat.
Yeah, all the way. There's a 48, so he does not have a chance there. Slamu, of course, is way upside down and has to cast outside. I will say, though, that 1 HP that Slamu got is actually not trivial. If Stags can't get it done in this fight, I mean, this is still definitely a race. 46.
Swinging at 46.
Gets
an
an
attack back. Yeah, oh, that was a hefty one. Silver Shield doing work there.
Yeah, 94 defense, pretty big for this.
Oh, that's a 10, not what you want to see.
Mineral.
Yeah, has to burn another one. Alright, gonna swing at 47 again.
Oh, 45 with 3 Healmores left has to think about it.
Yeah, it feels bad.
Right back in the same spot, has to take this one.
No, just crushes
Fire
it.
breath,
And
no!
dead.
So, I think the seed is complete now. Slamu has sold his death necklace and does have enough money to buy a silver shield also. He's got 1 level on Stags and is going to head back for Charlock. With a little bit of a head start, because Stags has to be re-buy herbs, but...
Yeah, the repel advantage definitely equalized here. And, gosh. This seed has been an absolute blender.
I don't even know that I have any other words for it. Stags appears to be offloading inventory to buy herbs because he was flat broke after that silver shield purchase and then lost half his gold upon his death to the Dragon Lord.
Did Stags just accidentally buy a dragon scale? Yeah, I think so.
I think maybe he did.
Unless this is just elaborate money laundering. But kind of need in money too. Oh, this is not good.
Might be mistaken, but I think Slamu got no fights. Has he seen anything yet on this dive?
No, he is just sliding right through.
There's a couple golems in Zone 2. It's down into Zone 3 now. This is where things can get a little problematic. I believe there are both red dragons and armored knights in this zone.
And is Stags gonna get another level?
He just hurt more that Axe Knight, did he not?
Yeah. Oh, this feels like more desperation.
We talked a little bit earlier about how these runners must both be feeling after the way their seed is gone, and yet you're still glancing over at an hour 54 now, and your opponent has not finished yet. So what has to be going through their minds? I mean, Slamu is on level 19. And Stags is on 18 and thinking, what if he kept grinding and he's still grinding, right? It's just...
Yeah, it's always the fear that, like, the next thing is the one that would have made the seed trivial. Like,
right.
What if 19 had all the HP?
I guess that's why it's so interesting to see Stags doing this now. From his perspective, if 19 were the level, maybe he'd expect Slamu to be finished already. Since he decided to dive on 18.
Yeah, this feels like just a lot of tilt. Like a seed's worth of tilt all just compressed into one moment.
Yeah, I think both of our runners have had those occasions in this one. Slamu swinging on 35 against the golem. He doesn't want to burn any resources here. The one fortunate thing about the golems is they don't dodge, so you at least know that if you're counting and you have a good sense of what your damage is, you can sometimes risk that. It was still a fairly substantial risk.
Yeah, so we'll see the difference that 1 HP can make. All those 47 hits now becoming 40 hits.
Exactly.
So you can
another 51. Same opening we just saw for Stags. Oh, but he didn't. He did 94 and didn't take out DL1.
Oh, now we're just gonna eat herbs, and then get ambushed in the next phase.
Well, here we go. Slamu into his first DL2 fight now. Does not get back attacked. Gets an opening swing for the minimum 10.
Whoa.
Swinging on 47, as is appropriate, gets the maximum for 20.
And that's probably the maximum damage from the swing. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Talk about 1 HP making a difference. Well, there you go.
Alright, well, Slamu definitely feeling bad about that one. Heals on a 47, so Stags popping back outside, gonna go into coal, just, I don't know, feel awful right about now.
I think we're on 54 for Slamu.
Yeah, just the non-stop fire breath.
64, there's another minimum.
So 46.
Ooh, bad heal more there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a hazard here as well. You can roll that heal more for as low as 85, and that's pretty painful when it happens. 19. I think we're on 73.
Yeah, still, these attacks have been crushing though.
They really have. With 95 defense, it's really toward the top of the range here.
Yeah, swinging at 48 again, getting another attack. So it's what you want to see.
I think 112 right now.
Yeah, there's another attack in the can for sure.
129, I think. Ooh,
Right,
breath for 48.
Breath, yeah. Just pump the brakes on this one. Another strong breath. Uh-oh. How are you feeling about this? Not going to take any chances. And you're right back to where you were.
20 is nice. 2 heal mores left in the tank.
Yeah, but you might be in range.
Maybe do it here. Another minimum!
No. Alright, well.
Well, here we go. Gets the breath, so almost... Okay, 42 breath.
Yeah, that was a good roll on the breath. That's going to do it.
Everybody, if you would be so kind, please get your GGs out in chat for Big Slamu, who is going to win this race and secure 2nd seed in the Magidrakee group. What a seed it was. Unbelievable. Finishing on level 19 at 92 hit points. Purple Mario has an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 19 seconds. Congrats to him.
Congratulations. Stag's getting the bad news about the next level. And I think the seed perfectly exemplifies the fact that maybe not getting tilted is a skill.
In this kind of a seed, it can really help. It can really help. Slamu has indicated he will be joining us, so we'll expect him along momentarily. I'm going to click around a bit and switch our audio over.
Yeah, definitely curious what where the big HP bump is. But we're joined by Slamu now. GG, congratulations on surviving that.
Thanks. I don't know if I won that or lost that. I'm not sure.
I think we understand why it might be fuzzy.
I mean, on the plus side, almost 2 hours, 61 bonks. That's my best bonk number of the entire tournament so far.
That's a really good bonk number for this seed.
Oh, I think the Silver Shield did it for me. I think the Silver Shield was the difference.
The Silver Shield was, for both of you, really hilarious and also a pretty big deal. Your second dive, you got so few encounters. It was pretty crazy.
Well, not only that, but I mean,
well, and
that was a natural Silver Shield.
Yes,
I didn't know those existed.
Yeah, you actually had... you sold your death necklace to get the money for it. Stags had enough, was in range, and then just did one trip through the completely ridiculous Tangential Treasury to get the rest of what he needed to buy his.
Yeah, I thought we accidentally put like vanilla chests on or something when I saw 4 gold chests in the treasury. That was so weird.
If it hadn't been for the double key start, I would have been concerned and immediately rushed to check the flags.
Oh, that was, I mean, honestly, I felt like that is not a 2-hour seed. That is a seed that took 2 hours because we couldn't find a grind for the longest time.
Yeah,
I mean, everything looked decent. I got good I got good weaponry early, and then I did 47 to a Magiwyvern, and then he slept me and sent me home, and I just couldn't get anything going.
Yeah, we actually saw that one. I think I pointed it out at the time that you'd done 47 to that Magiwyvern. But it really was that kind of seed, right? Where there's not really a grind anywhere that you really like, and at the same time, the exploration is just kind of not very fruitful because you already have a lot of attack power, you've got a broadsword, find armor relatively early. It's just kind of looking for what's the next best thing to do here.
Yeah, I mean, the only beneficial pickup for me post armor is 20 attack power. Which, yeah, that speeds up the grind, but the grind's still terrible on 50 HP, or 45 HP, or 52 HP, or any of those multiple levels in there. So, I mean, honestly, if I didn't get that medal at, I want to say it was level 9 or 10, I'm probably 5 minutes slower, if not more.
You both got at least a couple of medals. I don't know what the exact final count was, but they were showing up often enough that it was just a matter of time until you both managed to get one. And I think...
Yeah, there was one zone there that was, it was Blue Dragon, Metal Slime, and that's all I saw in the zone. It was way up in the northeast by the token.
Yeah, it looks like by the stats it was 2 medals that you got, but it was the timing that really helped you out.
Yeah, that early medal helped me. The late medal up by Hawksness wasn't that. I mean, it was fine. It was good. I'm not gonna say no to a medal, but I mean, it was just 2 stonemen at that point, which I hate grinding on stonemen. That's just like that was just absolute misery.
Yeah, I think most people would agree, but just there was such a shortage of options, like you said, the hit points being the limiting factor meant there was just a lot of stuff that did not seem grindable, particularly in, until level 11 or 12.
Yeah, I honestly, at the end of the day, I think Sharlock was the best zone. Sharlock top.
It was certainly very efficient for Hurtmore's, and not to miss out on Stags' DL2 fight. I think he still had, 4 or 5 Healmores left in the tank there at the end of that one?
Yeah.
I had 5 no heals, and I won on the second to last swing. 5 no swings, yeah.
So everybody, thank you for your GGs in chat, and keep them coming for Stags28. He will finish second place in this race. But I think completing this seed earns you some kind of Medal of Merit. 163 hit point Dragon Lord 2, by the way.
Oof.
I mean, I did 172, so it was pretty clear. Yeah, that Dragon Lord fight, I think I went in missing 1, maybe 2 Healmores, and I'm like, the numbers are here, the stats are here. Play it super safe, and then I almost missed all of it. Right, I almost came up short, so.
Yeah. Just real quick, I think Mr. Slime is hunting stats in the background. Guess how many hit points on level 20?
Can you lose hit points? Can I go back down to 91?
You'd almost expect a negative hit point gain there. We are joined in the booth now by our second place finisher, Stags28. Stags, GG.
Oh man, GG Slammer.
GG Stags, that was an ugly one.
So out of curiosity, I lost count. How much did I end up hitting DL2 on the first try?
I actually also lost count. Maybe somebody in chat will know. But it was actually kind of hard to track damage in that fight just because you could go 6 or 7 turns without landing a swing.
Yeah, he was... on the second time, there was a lot more melee and a lot less DL2 breath.
Yeah. Schmeik in chat reporting 159. So it was super close.
And I'm assuming, did you just dive back-to-back Stags at 19, or?
No. I was at 18 when I went the first time, and then I went back into Sharlock just to get close enough to the next level where even the golem would put me over, and then I went again.
I mean, there's a massive stat gain between 18 and 19, so it makes clear sense to me why 18's not enough, but 19 was. For those that don't remember, it was 0-1-1-0.
It was exactly 0110.
That's right. I remember that now.
Yeah, I don't like my stats in binary.
It's never a good sign.
By the way, thank
So-
you, Archfield and team, for not mentioning my miserable losing staff cave for 20 minutes.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up. But since you did, both of you had kind of moments that went that way. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't ask about it because, surely both of you felt behind, right? Stags had kind of a reverse count that did not go his way. And Slamu, you basically did the world tour looking for Staff Cave. How are you both feeling as you go down the stretch and just these levels keep coming in trickles for hit points and you're like, what was your thought process?
I'm not sure tilt is the right word.
I mean, I'm sitting there at 130. I'm like, can Stags just finish already? 2 seed, 3 seed, I don't really care. Honestly, the level of competition in the brackets is going to be the same. Just get me out of this.
Oh man. I played a really big gamble at the beginning that I don't think hurt me a ton, but probably hurt me a little.
Yeah,
Go
ahead.
I just skipped getting keys, and I just did a full gold grind, almost full gold grind, enough for the magic armor and the broadsword, and just not enough for the large shield also. And then said, I'll find her molder soon enough.
Was there a loose key out there outside of our molder? I don't remember.
There was not. That was one of the things. Yeah, it was one of the things we were talking about. It would have either had to have the other key, because you had 2 at the start, of course, would have been either 5th Chest of Grave, which nobody bothered to go to, I don't think, or in Charlock. So they were all locked up.
Well, there were 2 more keys out there, right? Because the second one was...
Yeah, well, there was the normal starting key, and then one of the loose keys in the throne room, and then there would have been 2 somewhere else. But yeah. So I don't even know. I honestly don't even know what to ask. There was so much going on in the seed. So I'll basically just put it to both of you. Do either of you have anything that you'd like to remark upon while we close things out here tonight?
Well, first off, thanks for staying up so late to run the commentary, restream, and tracking. I'm really curious to watch this one back in about 3 or 4 weeks when I get over it.
Stags GG. I'm sure this was a fun one. Again, yeah, I'd echo that same thing. Archfield Monsieur. Arch, did you have a co-commentator? Oh, Edgeworth. Thank you, guys.
Edge was here.
Awesome. Thank you to the Magidrakee group, the best group in the entire tournament. The real trophy that I will hoist at the end of the tournament is the friends that I made along the way.
Please make sure you ask for permission before you hoist friends. It's always good policy.
Just trying to be uplifting, that's all.
This is what we've been getting for 2 hours. It's Edgeworth puns.
I made sure chat suffered as much as you all did, so...
Well,
91. If I'd been able to win that at 91 HP, that would have definitely been a personal low.
yeah, I think very few people can claim to have beaten the Dragon Lord on 91 hit points.
I mean, this seed was already a personal low for me.
Perhaps in more ways than one.
That
Maybe
was
not.
my worst. That was my worst lost cave in years.
Yeah, I had one of those earlier in this tournament. There's definitely a field bad there. but I'm being called away. Thank you so much, GG's again, Slamu. Believe it or not, that was actually a little fun still.
GG's, sir. Good luck in the rest. See ya in 3 or 4 rounds.
Here's hoping. All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks.
All right, Edge, anything you want to talk about before we cut people loose here?
No, just GG's to the runner. Good luck in brackets, and thanks to Mr. Slime for doing the tracking, and thanks for hopping on and doing the restreaming the commentary.
Yeah, I had a great time. I hope chat had a great time too. I want to second my thanks for Mr. Slime for tracking this one, because I would have been totally lost trying to do both at the same time. I'm lost enough just doing commentary. But let's take a look at our calendar here. We do have presently 3 races on the calendar for tomorrow, and there are actually only a handful left that do need to be scheduled. So we're getting down to the end of the group stage here. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, East Coast time. Fred F. Coughlin going up against Quinn Patrick in the Druin group. Then 2 races at 9 p.m. Diabetes II versus Old Vampire Lady, and Sassage Link versus Miplet. So that's relatively light schedule for tomorrow. Actually, there are 7 races for tomorrow, Tina was telling me. So that tells me I need to look at the main schedule. I'm going to look at the main schedule real quick. Wow, that is a lot of races that got scheduled between when I opened the tracker and right now. So actually we have those races, as well as Nest Cardinality and Silly Dabbit at 9 o'clock. Stags is playing R. Barbalud at 9 o'clock. Dr. Mr. Holmes versus Billick at 9:30. Arn Polly versus Secret Agent Mand at 10. Many of those races have pretty big implications for playoff positioning and brackets. So stay tuned. Check out the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Discord if you are curious about what will be restreamed and when. Arn Polly versus Mand has been scheduled for a week. I don't know why it's not on the thing then. Well, it's fine. Shoutouts to Arn Polly anyway. I'm gonna see if somebody else has been scheming behind the scenes to find us a raid target. I see nothing. So now I'm going to look. And you get to hear me pressing buttons on the keyboard and probably sound coming up on Twitch. There we go, that's always fun. And you know what? We're gonna raid Vertical Sandwich tonight. Oh, Angel! Ah! Come on, man. Sniped again. All the time, this guy. That'll do it for us tonight on DW Randomizer. If you haven't done so already, please follow our runners. Put on a very entertaining show for us tonight. Please also follow my co-commentator, Edgeworth. You can find him at twitch.tv/edgestream. And our tracker, Monsieur Slime, at the same. I hope you all have a great night. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night, everybody.